And now shifting focus to the southern border with Mexico, where hundreds of migrants are abandoning their journey towards the United States. The caravan, which began earlier this week with around 3,000 migrants, has now dwindled to just half after Donald Trump won re-election.
Maria thought she was paying for freedom, a chance to give her son a better life. Instead, she paid for a nightmare. After surrendering her life savings to cartel guides, she endured months of exploitation, violence, and fear. And Maria is not alone. Thousands like her are caught in this cycle of desperation and deceit.
Now, throughout the campaign, Donald Trump vowed to complete his border wall and deport millions of illegal immigrants. He's even promised to hire an additional 10,000 Border Patrol agents and impose tougher restrictions on asylum.
We wanted to get to the United States. Now that Trump won, we do not know what to do. May it be God's will, since we are taking this course, that we have to arrive, even if it is to knock on the door, to see if they open it for us. I don't know what to do anymore, because we left a very terrible regime. Returning to Venezuela is like being shot in the head.
Cartels lure families like Maria's with promises of safe, secure journeys to the United States. But what they deliver is something far different: abandonment, trauma, and for many, death. In 2023, over 800 migrants died in the desert, left behind by smugglers who vanished as soon as the money was handed over. Each of these markers is a life lost, a dream cut short, and a promise shattered. These migrants believed they were buying hope, but they paid for horror.
A post-election YouGov survey shows that Donald Trump has the support of 53% of Americans on immigration matters, compared to just 45% for Vice President Kamala Harris. As of now, the reality for migrants remains uncertain as they weigh their next steps, with many deciding to give up on their chances of crossing into the United States.
Cartels aren't just trafficking drugs, they're trafficking people, and it's a billion-dollar industry.
Wow, ya pusieron la escalera. Ándale, Andrés, córrele.
No, que corran. Si esto no es de chanclas.
So in order to meet the goal of hiring 10,000 new agents, we need the agents. We need them badly. And keeping our incredible veteran agents on the force. Don't leave us!
While migrants scrape together everything they have, cartel leaders live in luxury. In 2022 alone, cartels made over $13 billion from human trafficking operations. These profits come at an unimaginable cost. The cartel's promises of safety are a cover for an industry built on suffering and exploitation, where human lives are just another commodity.
For migrants who use social media platforms like Telegram to track the U.S. immigration policies, the election outcome has dampened their hopes severely. Several expressed frustration, with some saying that had there been a woman president like Claudia Sheinbaum, their lives would take a different trajectory.
I wanted them to elect a woman in the United States elections just as we did here. That way they would have seen eye to eye, because Mr. Trump is arbitrary, misogynist, racist.
But for many, paying cartels isn't an option. They set off on foot in massive caravans, hoping that strength in numbers will protect them. But even this journey is fraught with peril. Vulnerable to cartel attacks, kidnappings, and extortion, many never make it to the U.S. border. These caravans are a lifeline for some, but a trap for many. Children go missing, and families are ripped apart. As they overwhelm border facilities, a humanitarian disaster unfolds on both sides of the border.
We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly.
The crisis is not contained at the border. Small towns in Texas, Arizona, and California are stretched to their limits. Schools are overcrowded, hospitals are overwhelmed, and local resources are exhausted. Border communities bear the brunt of a crisis they didn't create, as their towns are transformed overnight into holding areas for those trapped by cartel greed.
In his winning speech, the president-elect reiterated his commitment to seal the borders, insisting that only legal immigration would be allowed. The president-elect's plan could further impose limitations on Biden-era programs like humanitarian parole and temporary protected status that temporarily allow some migrants to remain in the United States.
This isn't just an American crisis or a Mexican problem, it's a shared responsibility. Officials on both sides of the border are beginning to work together, targeting the criminal networks that profit from human suffering. New alliances are forming, determined to bring down the cartels and disrupt their stranglehold on the border. But dismantling these empires takes time, and it takes commitment from governments, communities, and citizens alike. Behind every statistic is a life, a child, a parent, a family. We have to ask ourselves, how much longer will we allow this tragedy to continue? It's time to demand change, to call for policies that protect, not exploit, and to stand up to the cartels profiting off human despair. It's time for change. Stand against the cartels. End on a solemn note with silence.
Are you ready to uncover the world's most jaw-dropping, mind-blowing stories? Welcome to Crazy Story. Here, we dive into the wildest true tales and shocking events from around the globe. The stories that are stranger than fiction. But here's the thing, we're just getting started. If you're as captivated by these crazy stories as we are, don't miss a single episode. Hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're always the first to catch our latest story.